In this video, we explore the process of finding the three longest incoming and outgoing calls. Hello, I'm Jagan from Growth Data. I'm posting this video to share my knowledge in SQL with you. If this assists you in your interview preparation anyways, I'll be happy. I'll be tagging this video to the playlist SQL Interview Questions. So whatever the code we discuss in this video will be posted on the GitHub, and that link will be given in the video description. First, we see the data set, and then you can talk about the question in detail. So we are given two tables, contacts and calls. Let's create the table. So the contacts table have the first name and last name of all the contacts. So ID is the unique identifier for this table. The calls will have all the call details. Like you have the contact ID, which is the foreign key for the contacts table. So if you have the one, you can connect with contacts table and get the name for that contact one. And we have the type and duration. So type will have two values, incoming and outgoing, and the duration is shown in seconds. So what they're asking is, we have to write a solution to find the three longest incoming and outgoing calls, and the output format is also specified. The result table must be ordered by the type of the call. So we have incoming and outgoing, right? So the output has to be first on the incoming side and then the outgoing side. Then we have to sort based on the duration format and the descending order. So the top will be the longest and then the next ones. Also, the format is in hour, minute, and second. And we have to show the first name for that contact ID. So this is what is asked for. So these kind of patterns, right? To find the top three salary or find the second highest salary, or these kind of questions like find the longest call, right? If these kind of questions come, we can answer this in three different ways. The first one is we can use a self join, or we can use a correlated subquery, or we go with the Windows function. This will be the standard for all these pattern of questions. Okay, let's start with our self join part. So we first go with the calls table. So we just say select from calls, we say C1, we join with the same table calls C2. So how we are going to connect this? Let's see the data in a sheet. So let me zoom this in. So if you see this, this is what is given. So we have the incoming data and the outgoing data and the duration. And you can change that to the minute, hour, minute, and second format. So first we sort this data. Okay, we go here, sort, and it has a header, and you sort based on the type first, A to Z. And then you go with the duration in descending order. You do this, you got all the incoming first and the outgoing, and we got the duration here. So this will be the top three, right? So we get these three, and then we need to get for the outgoing, these three are the top. Okay, now if I do a self join, I'm going to have the same data set here, and I'm going to do a self join, right? This is what the self join is all about. Okay, so how would I do a self join? I take this duration, okay? So incoming equal to incoming. So you go with this set of data. You can just have highlight this, okay? So all this incoming will be connected with the secondary table. You can say this as a C1, okay? So this one as C1. You can center this. Where is the center part? Okay, alignment, you go with center. And the same thing, we make this as C2. Okay, so C1 and C2, if you take this 420, if you combine the 420 here, and make sure this is the smallest. How many numbers we have above this? So above or equal to. So 420, right? So if you say 420, then you have 1. And if you see 300, right? So let's minimize this. So first 420, we have this one. If we say 300, how many on top, right? If this is the smallest one, these two are the greater than or equal to 300. So if you say 300, this 1 and 2. And if you say 180, see how many numbers are above 180 are equal to 180. So this 3. So if we say 180, so 1, 2, and 3. And if we say 150, then you say 4. But we need only 3, so we just stop here. So what I say, C1 self-join is C2, and you check the type equal to type, and then the C1's duration should be less than or equal to C2 duration. If that is the case, then if I count how many C2 durations I have, I can find the rank 1, 2, and 3. So this is what I'm going to do in the SQL part. So I do C1 and C2, and I'm going to join this based on our type. So C2 dot type equal to C1 dot type, and then this duration should be less than or equal to this duration. Then only you can find the number of durations we have. So we are going to say C1 dot duration should be less than or equal to C2 dot duration. So if I run this, I want C1 dot, what is that ID, contact ID, and then C1 dot the type, and then C1 dot duration. We can see how to change this format after fixing this. Okay, so when I have this C1 dot duration, I will have to find how many C2 dot durations available, right? So what I'm going to say, I group by the first 3, and then saying having count of distinct C2 dot duration should be less than or equal to 3. So it has to be 1, 2, and 3. Should not go beyond that. So we just say that count should be less than or equal to 3. If I run this, I will get this incoming and outgoing. So let me order this. Order by type, and then duration, descending order, and then you go with 1. So if I run this, I got the 420, 300, and 180 for incoming. So that's what it is, right? 420, 300, 180 for incoming. And outgoing, 360, 280, 240. So you see 360, 280, 240. So I got that based on these two conditions. C1 is less than or equal to C2, and then the count of C2 should be less than or equal to 3. If these two conditions satisfy, then I get this part. The second thing is I have to change the duration format. So how will I do that? I'm going to use the function. This is from seconds to time format. So I just say seconds to time format, C1 dot duration as duration formatted. So if I run this, I will get the time in hour, minute, and second format. So I don't want this duration for now, but I want the name, not the contact ID. So what should I do? I'm going to join, inner join contacts table. So you can make it a C. So C dot, so C will have ID, right? It's not saying contact, say ID that connects with calls contact ID. So C dot ID on C dot ID equal to C1 dot contact ID. So once I get that, I'm going to bring in the C dot first name. I don't want the contact ID. So now I got the first name from the contacts table and the C1 dot type, right? Not C2 dot. Anyway, the type is same. C1 or C2 doesn't make a difference. So we can just say C1 dot type or C2 dot type. Okay. And then we are going to find the second to time format of the duration. So this is what is asked for. So now I have the order on incoming and then outgoing. And if you see this 7, 5, and 3, 6, 4, and 4. So this is what is here 7, 5, and 3, 6, 4, and 4. So we got the top 3. So main thing you have to remember how you say which duration should be less than or equal to which duration, right? C1 or C2. That will be the first confusion you will get when you write it. The second one is which duration should you count for less than or equal to 3 or greater than or equal to 3. So if you understand these two conditions, then self join will be one of the easiest one. So you just remember this table. Just put this and you see how you have to connect. The type has to be connected and this duration, if it's less than or equal to the C2, then you get the count like this. So you can frame the SQL like this. So this is self join. Now we can go to the second approach, which is going to be the correlated subquery. So you know self join, right? The same table connects to the same table. That is self join. Correlated subquery is the upper table controls the subquery. The subquery is not independent. It will be controlled by the first main table. Okay, let's start with the same table. Select from calls. We say C1, and then we get got the C1 dot contact ID, and then C1 dot type and C1 dot duration from the C1, where we have to say some number which is going to count the contact IDs. How many contact IDs are going to be with this type and this duration? What we did in the self join, right? So you just say select, you just say count of how many contact IDs. You can say C2 dot contact ID from the call same table C2, where this where goes to the subquery here, where the C2 dot type equal to C1 dot type and the C2 dot duration should be greater than or equal to C1 dot duration. The same thing we did, right? This condition. So we are trying the other way in the correlated subquery. The C2 should be greater than or equal to C1. For every C1 dot duration, we see how many C2 dot duration is greater than or equal to this 420 and this 300 and this 180, right? The same format we have put in. So this count should be 3 or 2 or 1. So 3 should be the highest. So 3 should be the highest. So the numbers can be 1, 2 or 3. If that many count comes, then you just say, okay, I want those type and those duration. So we did the contacts, type and duration, where 3 equal to this subquery from calls where and. Okay. Now I'm going to order by the type first and then the duration descending order, and then you can go with the I. So if I run this, I get the same 420, 300 and 180. And we know how to change this duration format. So we just get this and say go with this, right? So duration format. In some database, when you try only the second to type, it might throw some error. Even the lead code, when I submit this kind of query, it just throws some error. So what you have to do is, we just do a time format. So you say time format, and then you can just give the format as percentage hour colon percentage I, which is the minute, colon percentage second. So this is also one way of representing it. So we can just have the duration time. Now if you run this, you get the result. So 425, which is what here, 7, 5 and 3 minutes. So 7, 5 and 3 minutes, and then 644. So 644. So we got the answer. Now we have to bring in the first name. So first name, you can simply bring in the same format, inner join the contacts and ID equal to the contact ID. And then I can replace this with C dot first name. C dot first name. I can comment this out. So I got the first name, I got the type and the duration format, and I got the result as expected. So first name, type incoming, and then the outgoing, and then the top 3. Right? So if you see this self join and correlated subquery, both are similar, almost the same, right? Only thing is, instead of doing a self join, I put that in a subquery and make sure that subquery is controlled by the main table. So that is a correlated subquery. The third is my most favorite one, which is the Windows function, which makes your life more simpler. So Windows function, we normally talked about dense rank and rank, right? So we are not going to talk much about that. We directly go into use the dense rank. Select C1 dot contact ID. First put the name. Oh, select, that's it. Okay. The CLECT from the calls C1. So we have the contact ID C1 dot the type and C1 dot the duration. So this is what it is, right? And then I am going to use the Windows function dense rank over, you have to partition by the incoming and outgoing, right? Partition by the type, and the order by is the critical one. Order by, within the type, you have to say the duration descending order as dense rank from the call table. So when I run this, it's throwing an error. Order by duration. Oh, commas not required. Partition by type, order by duration. So if you see this, the 4, 2, and 5 ranked in 1, 2, and 3, and the outgoing 3, 5, 2 ordered by 1, 2, 3. So in this scenario, the duration is all distinct, right? So dense rank and rank is going to give the same result. So if I give rank, and if there is a duplicate in duration, like more than one contact ID have the same duration, then it's going to be an issue. That's why I use the dense rank. You can watch the previous videos. We talked more about the rank and dense rank in that one. Okay. Now I got the dense rank and I have the ranked 1, 2, 3, the order. So I can get only the top 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the CT table with sorted calls as, so I'm going to save this as a CT table. I'm going to say select from the sorted calls, you can say C1, and then I'm going to bring in C1 dot the contact ID, C1 dot the type, C1 dot the duration. From this, where C1 dot the dense rank equal less than or equal to 3. So we don't want the exact 3. We need the 1, 2, and 3. So we just say less than or equal to 3. So if I run this, I got the contact, type, and duration. Now I can bring in the time format for the duration. I don't want the duration part this format, so I change that to duration format. So I got the 7, 5, and 3, 6, 4, and 4. Now I need to get the name, which we did twice. So with the same format, get the inner join, put it here, and then get the c dot first name, c dot first name, and I don't want this, but I need the type, so I bring in the type. I don't want the duration, so I need the first name, I need the type, and the sorry, I have to bring in at the bottom here, not this one. So I have to do first name. So I say Control C. Okay. So here I have to put in the contacts, and in this select statement, I have to put in the first name, and I don't need the contacts, but I need the type, and then I need the duration format, and I have the filter for 3. So I got this, but the order by is missing. Order by, first is the type, which is the second column, and then 3 descending, and then the name. So I got Mitchell, Jane, and Emily, Alice, Emily, and Jane. So that is what is required here. So whatever the code we talked about, if you want to see the code, then you can go to the Grow with Data YouTube channel. The playlist, this will be in the SQL Interview Questions. In this playlist, the description part, you'll have the GitHub link. So for this video, the GitHub link will take to the code base, and the one we are talking about now is 37th video, which is here. So we have the create table statement, and then the first self join, and then you have correlated subquery, and then we have the Windows function. So you can use this code for your practice. If you want to join the WhatsApp channel, there is a link here. You can use this and join Grow Data WhatsApp channel. Hope you like this video, and thanks for watching.